it's Ansel here, and today I'm going to be making a video on the replay mod and how I basically get my replay mod videos to look really nice and really clean. Lots of edits. It's not just all the replay mod. There's a lot you have to do in Vegas too to get really good quality. Also, it's pretty late at night, so if I sound a little different, it's because I'm trying to be quiet, not trying to wake my family up. But over here, I have some replay clips of pretty much most of the Champions maps that I went into and got some clips for, so we'll go find a map. Alright, so I'm on Peaks, probably like the most basic map to do any replay mod thing on, but it doesn't really matter. What you want to do once you have a replay mod clip open is you want to make sure all your chunks are loaded, and when your character is not in like the middle of the map, you sort of want your character to be like near the middle of the map so all your chunks are loaded properly, or else you'll have some chunks that don't load, and that is brought up in the replay mod clip itself. So I have this camera path of windmill. It's pretty basic, but you probably want something better than this, but I'm just doing this because why not, it's easy. The first thing that you can do to immediately make any replay mod clip better is, for whatever your first keyframe is, you want a camera tilt. Camera tilts, you do those by the J and L keys. You can like go ahead and do all this like fancy stuff, but you want to have a slight camera tilt, just like an offset sort of. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It's sort of like a really subtle thing, but it makes pretty much all replay mod clips look just so much nicer, just having that that extra layer of detail to it. Now the second thing you want, I don't know why my options look super buggy for some reason. Okay, go to your shaders. You want a nice shader like setting. Obviously, the one that I prefer are CUDA shaders. I have the CUDA shader 6.1 legacy ones, which are like pretty much the latest CUDA shader you can get if they will load. Okay, you have them loaded, but another thing that you want to do, that everyone should do when they're making a replay mod clip, is you want to go to your shader options, which will be this, and you want to go to effects, blur effects, and what you want to do is enable depth of field. Well, by default it'll look something like this. You want to enable depth of field and enable distance blur, and you also want to put your blur factor all the way to 2. Once you have that, you will have this distance blur, which right now is super bugged. Give me 1 second. Alright guys, we're back. Sorry, all I did to fix that, if anyone else has that problem, just launch a single player world and exit out of it and go back. I didn't actually save my my keyframes, so I had to went ahead and redo that, but I didn't really change much besides that. But as you can see with the distance blur, it just makes things look much nicer. The closer an object is, it'll look like really in focus, but everything else like in the background will look like really out of focus. It just like depends on where you're looking, so it just looks like crazy nice in all replay mod footage. It's really cool. And with that, can go ahead and show a little camera path. I don't think it focuses all that well, but again, this is sort of a crappy example, but I'll go ahead and render this out and I'll see you guys in Vegas. Okay guys, so I have my replay mod clip imported here. The first thing you want to do is go to switches, disable resample. You want to do that for every replay mod clip, basically every clip, unless it's like a PvP clip. Get in the habit of doing that, and what I usually do first is I will add a coat of RSMB to the clip. If you don't have RSMB, then look it up. It's pretty easy to get. Go ahead and drag it on. I'll go ahead and show you the settings that I use. You can mess around with these settings. You don't have to use my settings. These are just some settings I got off of some video and I stuck with them. but immediately your clip will look like way smoother with RSMB. RSMB just makes things look so much better. The second thing you want to do is you want to add some color correction. So go to Magic Bullet Looks. Again, if you don't have it, pretty easy to install. Drag it on there, click on Edit. Okay. And I have a bunch of presets. It's not hard to get presets, just go look up Magic Bullet Looks color corrections. I have like so many. I'll just pick out something random that looks nice and I'll stick with it. Alright, so I found one that looks really nice, in my opinion. The first thing you want to do is you want to, okay, if in some color correction presets there will be film grain, which looks like this. You do not want film grain. It looks bad in YouTube videos. It messes up stuff. So if you see that, just tick this thing right there, make sure it's disabled. Another thing you will want to look out for is a vignette. You can have vignettes, it's perfectly fine, but if it has a vignette, then that's great actually. But if it doesn't, then you can manually add a vignette, and I'll show you how to do that later. But so yeah, we have this on our track. The third thing I like to do, if you don't already have a vignette, let's say a vignette, by the way, are these like black corners. Like you see how the corners are sort of darkened. If you don't have that, what you want to do is go to media generators. There's a really easy way to doing this, and there's like a harder way, but both look the same to me. And I'll go to, what is it, color gradient? Yeah, and you want to find elliptical transparent to black. You want to drag that over your clip, take the two, drag it to the corner, take the one, drag it sort of like around there-ish, exit out of it, and then you want to take the opacity, drag it down to maybe around 50, and you'll see it'll make the corners look darker. Again, really easy way to add a vignette. This already has a vignette, so I'm gonna sort of leave it at that. And another thing I'll go ahead and do is add a flicker to it. So you want the Sapphire plugins for this. Again, yeah, lots of plugins, but s_flicker. Crap. Go to flicker. I have a preset for it. These are my settings. Again, these are mostly just settings that are copied from random YouTube videos, but yeah, what I'll do is it'll add a really subtle flicker to your videos that just makes it look nicer. The last thing you want to do with this to make it look nice is I usually add black bars. This is pretty optional. It honestly depends on what you're editing, but yeah, go to media generators, close out that, scroll down to solid color, find white. You want to make sure this is dragged over all the clips that you have. You want to go to your compositing mode, and I think it's multiply mask. Yeah, it is. Then you want to go to pan crop. You want to have snapping enabled, just make stuff easier. Well, you don't need to have it enabled. You want to disable locked aspect ratio. Move in Y only, and then just drag this down to however you want. I think that looks about fine. Yeah, so you have those nice black bars because it's sort of a cinematic effect. So yeah, that's starting to look pretty professional. And one last thing that I'll do with a lot of replay mod clips is I will go ahead and add velocity to it, and I'll go ahead like mess with the time of it. So I'm just gonna do this randomly. You generally like want to put some more effort into velocity, but yeah, you create a point by double clicking. You want to create one at the end too. Come on. Okay. Go to your first. I'm just gonna set it to a random number, like say 275. Set the end one 275. Set these middle ones, say 50 or 40. Don't use my exact settings, like you want to mess around with this kind of stuff. Set this first one to slow fade. No, never mind, I lied. Set it to fast fade. And set this one right here to slow fade. And this will like go ahead and it'll like mess with the timings of it. As a final touch, I'm just gonna add like a really simple mending transition. I'm gonna go to my plugins. I have a plugin chain for this already. It's a dissolve shake. You can look up how to do one of these. I'm just gonna add it. Gonna click OK. It's gonna remove everything because Sony Vegas is done like that. Alright, so I reapplied all the plugins. When you add a plugin chain, I forgot, it removes everything that you have because it's stupid like that. But as you can see, I have my shake, SMB, flicker, all that. Let's go ahead and do that. But yeah, this is just gonna add a little like sort of like outro thing, I guess. This is entirely dependent on like what you're editing, but I'm just gonna add it in here because why not. But yeah, we'll go ahead and render this out. But yeah guys, that's just about it to making cinematics look really good. Again, to recap, when you're in the replay mod, make sure you have your chunks loaded, add a camera tilt to make it look nice, make sure you have distance blur on, and depth of field. Both look super nice. They just make replay mod clips look better. After that is just adding plugins, rendering the video in a nice quality, and yeah, that's just about it. Anyways guys, peace.